Hi, everybody. It's Megan from All Writers Welcome, and I'm joined today by author Jaye Helm. Welcome, Jaye. So glad to have you.
Hi, thank you so much.
Yeah, go. Please, introduce yourself. Tell us where you are and all about what you write.
I live in Georgia, just southeast of Atlanta, and I write young adult adventure fantasy series called the Serafina series, and it's about pirates and time travel.
I didn't realize there was a time travel element in there.
Yes, there
Oh
is.
my goodness. That's really cool. So somewhere in the mix between fantasy, would you call it science fiction or would you say it's more?
I would say more fantasy adventure type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, how fun. And what age readers are your target audience?
Oh, pre-teenager on up.
Nice. Oh, sounds so fun.
Yeah.
So I want to hear a little bit about you and writing and how you came to be the author you are. Can you tell us a little bit about your background? Did you always know you were going to be a writer? Was that always your path? For some authors, it's a surprise. It happens later in life. But what was your story?
Well, mine started out when I was about 12 years old. I love horses, loved horses all my life, and I had a girlfriend who also loved horses. And we didn't have any in our life, so we would write stories back and forth to each other about
Oh.
horses and us. And I was about 12 years old when we started doing this, and at about 14 or 15, I got to thinking, well, these are kind of good. I wonder if I could really do this.
Wow.
So I started about 16 taking it really seriously and started writing some children's stories, some poems, and some short stories. And it just went from there.
Wow. Well, when you say went from there, did you start submitting your stories for publication?
No, not really. I've had a couple of them published just for, like, it was in a writing contest, and it
Okay,
got
neat.
published in a book that way.
Yeah.
No, I've never submitted any of them.
But that put you on the path where you knew this was what you were going to pursue professionally.
Yes.
That was, oh, I love that it started with you creating the world that you and your friend wanted to live
Hmm.
in. What was did you have names for the series, or what were the names of your horse stories you were writing?
They changed. I did not have a particular set name.
Oh, how fun. Are you still in touch with that friend? Does she now know that you're still writing adventure stories?
No, I've been trying to find her, and I just can't hook up with her. I don't know what happened to her.
We will have to put this to the magical world of the internet. Maybe she'll
Yes.
find this interview and to go, oh, there's my friend from the good old
Yeah.
days. Oh, how lovely. So tell us a little bit more about your series and your characters. How many books are in the Serafina series? Is it one you're still going on? Is there a lot more to come?
I've written book one and book two, and I'm in the process of getting together book three.
Oh, nice.
Hmm.
And how far do you see it going? Do you have a number of books in mind for the series, or you're just feeling it out?
No, I'm just gonna go as far as I can.
Oh, nice. I love it. And give us a little bit more about pirates and time travel, because that's definitely a combination I haven't heard before. And especially I want to hear more. I'm drawn to your main character is a young woman, yes?
Yes.
So I really would love to hear more about the idea of pirate adventure with a female protagonist and some of the adventures she gets into. Can you give us a sense of who Serafina is and what she's all about?
Sure. Serafina is a young girl. She's about 14, 15 years old, and the story takes place in the year 2012.
Oh,
And she goes to an antique shop with her family, and she finds this antique spyglass, and from there something magical happens, and all of a sudden she finds herself back into the 18th century
oh
in the
wow.
land of pirates, and she has to make her way in that world and try to figure out how she got there and how to get back home. And in the meantime, she meets up with pirates and cutthroats and riffraff and all kinds of people.
And does she have her own ship, or she has to make her way on other people's ships?
No, she has to make her way on other people's ships. She hires on at a merchant ship as a cook.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That
it's
has to
magical.
have such a wonderful appeal to younger readers and preteens because it's the familiar going to the adventure. And that reminds me of your own writing journey. You know,
Mhm.
here's where I am, and there are no horses, but I can transport myself to a place where there are horses. And you didn't use a magical spyglass, you used your imagination.
Right.
Um, but it seems so fun. How did you get that? What was the inspiration for that idea?
It's funny that you asked because I had a friend that wanted me to write a book, and he says, "Can you come up with something that's like Nancy Drew meets Pirates of the Caribbean?" And I said, I don't know. Let me try. And so I sat down and I wrote, and that's what I came up with was the Serafina series.
That is so magical to just take that one spark and the combination of two things that don't seem to go together, but that are both really delightful, that they're both just tug at our imaginations. So that sounds like now a fun challenge for more people to submit to you. The
Yeah.
next series will be, what can you do with?
Yes.
Oh, how lovely. And obviously it's something you enjoyed because you're continuing on the series.
Oh yes, I love it.
Yeah. Oh,
I love it.
wow. So in the series, does she get a chance to go back and forth between present day, or she's now stuck and it's just continuing that she's trying to find a way back, or do we come back and forth between the our
Well,
time and
I don't want to give too much of the story away, but most of it takes place in the 18th century, and
neat?
her trying to find her way back home.
Wow. Do you find yourself doing a lot of research then? Are you spending a lot of time digging deep into pirate life and
Yes and no, because I am actually a street entertainer. I'm a pirate street entertainer. I go to pirate festivals and dress up in authentic clothes, and I have my own sword, my own flintlock pistol, and we fire our weapons. They're all real weapons.
Oh wow.
And so, since I've been in the pirate world, I've also educated myself more about pirates.
Wow. So you're living it. How did you get started in the pirate world? Because that's not something you hear every day.
No, no, it's a funny story. I used to live in North Carolina, and every year they have this big pirate festival.
Okay, that makes sense because that part of the country definitely had its fair share of
Yeah,
pirates
Blackbeard
back in the
was
day.
right there, so they had a pirate festival every year. Well, I didn't even know about it, and I lived there for like 12 years. Well, my girlfriend says, "Would you like to go to this pirate event?" And I'm like, "Okay, sure." And I went, and we had a good time, and we went back the next day, and this one pirate came up to me and started talking to me, and I really liked him, and he was funny, and we just kind of clicked, and we just stuck together all day long. And he invited me to the Pirates Ball that night.
This is a fairy story.
Isn't it funny? I'm not making this up, I swear. So we went to the Pirates Ball.
Wait, I have to interrupt you. What does one wear to a pirate ball, Jay?
Ball gowns.
Oh, okay.
But
Perfect.
unfortunately, I didn't have any at that time, so I just wore the nicest dress I could find. But of course, he dressed up in all his regal attire, and it was
Oh,
just amazing. We had such a good time, and we've been together ever since. And that was almost 8 years ago.
oh, what a sweet story. You found your pirate in shining armor. I guess that doesn't go
Yes,
together. How
yes, I did.
fun. And so then the two of you together must do the pirate events and continue doing
Right,
all of the
right.
fun
He's
adventure.
been doing it for a very, very long time. So he knows more about it than I do. So he's kind of my go-to guy for if I have any questions about anything. He's right there and he helps me out a lot.
That is such a fun place to write from, I bet, because you're embodying it, you know. And I know some authors say when they're trying to think of how a fight scene should go down, it's really a challenge. I've heard from people fight scenes are some of the most challenging to write, and you can probably think back, okay, well, they were coming from this side, and I took out my flintlock. And that is
Yes,
so
yes,
so fun.
yes.
Is that? I mean, I'm assuming that's your writing process, but is there uh, how do you really get inspired to sit down and get your next great ideas or a process that you use and just more generally, can you tell us about your writing process, about how long do you like to take on a book?
Well, this one is kind of my first real serious book. So it took me a while. It took me about a year. I took a couple of months off, but it took me
Yeah.
about a year to get this one done. And to get my inspiration, I just really have to look around the house because our house is like a museum. It's got
Oh,
pirate flags, it's got weapons on the wall,
oh wow.
pictures of pirates, pictures of my sweetheart in pictures of, and just everything's pirate all around us. So so I can just take a look around and see something and grab an idea from it.
Nice. That's so wonderful. And maybe it will spark a whole scene just looking at one object, imagining how somebody might use it. And
Right. Yeah.
oh, wow. And do you find that pirate people start giving you pirate things? They know you're a pirate household. Does it start to collect?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that's so fun. And I know that you are going to pirate events. Is there a crossover with your books and the pirate events? Do you find a way to combine doing fun pirate, I don't know if reenactment is the right word, but fun pirate events and book events? Do those two come together for you?
Yes, actually, I do book signings at pirate events in most of
That's
them.
so great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. I'm all dressed up. Well, I get dressed up when I sign books anyway, but it's just so much fun.
What a thrill. How do your readers react when I mean, I imagine they read this book and they go, oh, it's such a great adventure and I want to meet the author. And then they see you and go, oh my goodness, the author's a pirate too. What kind of reactions do you get?
I get a lot of wow, and is that sword real? But yeah, they're kind of surprised, but they're pleasantly surprised. They think it's really neat.
Yeah. And that's a very special thing for an author actually to be able to connect with a fan. I mean, it's always nice to get to hear what a fan thinks via social media or a review, but there's something extra special about connecting, in the real world offline. Any favorite moments you've had connecting with your readers in that way?
Yes, I was at a book signing at a pirate festival down in Florida one time, and this lady came up to me with her 11-year-old son, and they said that they were looking for more pirate books to read. And they came over to my table and was talking to me, and they said the mother said that the son is also a writer, and he's won several awards, and he reads at a high school level.
Oh, wow.
And she said they were looking up on Amazon for more pirate books, and my name popped up, and she looked at the books. She was very interested in them, and then she showed her son, and the son says, well, I know that lady. She's going to be at this pirate festival. I saw her picture in the brochure. So they were really eager to come and meet me, and
Oh.
they came and bought my books, and I signed them a special little message in there, and that was just so special
Mm.
to me. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.
And that very same day, there was another younger girl uh, was sitting around our table because we had the treasure chest, and at the end of their little trek through their treasure chest, looking for the treasure chest, they found it at my table and were taking turns taking something out of the treasure chest. Well, as the little girl was waiting in line for her turn, she turned around, she looked and saw my book, and she goes, oh, I have that book. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so neat.
Yeah. And to see, especially writing for a younger audience. I mean, because kids just get excited in a different way. Adults, we love to, uh, be fans, but kids are just unrestrained. And also, I imagine that feels really special with the young boy, or not young, but the young man,
Mhm.
that he's interested in writing, and to get that encouragement from somebody who's doing it, to get that boost of confidence, it makes such a difference. And it makes me curious, when you were writing those stories when you were younger, were the people in your life, were the adults in your life supporting you and saying, you have a talent, this is something you should be doing, this is um, keep going? Or were they saying, writing, that's not a real job?
I think I've had some support. I mean,
Yeah.
they saw that that I could do something with it, and they encouraged me.
Yeah. I think there's nothing like it to have somebody see the spark in your eye and what you really love to do and go, yes, go for it.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, how fun. And to see you having fun with it too. That
Oh,
must
yeah.
be a kick for younger readers to go, are you, adults are allowed to have fun? I didn't know that. there's, there's hope for me after all.
Yeah,
Um,
I've had many adults read my stories and love them just as much. So I'm like, oh, that's wonderful.
yeah, I have to, I'm looking forward to starting on your series because I am a huge reader of young adult fiction. And I particularly am drawn to, um, when there is a female protagonist, when there's a gal at the center and she's getting to call the shots and especially be bold and be a pirate. um, you were talking about treasure, and I wanted to bring up, you have a great blog. You have the most fantastic author blog.
Oh, thank
And
you.
and can you describe to folks the video you did about digging up treasure? Do you know which one I mean?
Yes,
Can you
yes.
tell us first just about that video, and then what was the inspiration for doing that?
Actually, I my publisher put it out there for us,
Oh,
for all
wow.
her authors, to do this little fun video. So I'm
So,
like,
like a
okay.
challenge or like a, hey, you should do this idea?
Yeah, it was just an idea or a challenge, So I thought, okay. So what can I do? And of course, I'm a pirate, so pirates need treasure. So that's what I came up with, and we actually did it in one take, believe it or not.
Oh, wow. And you're so in it. You're so involved. The reason I wanted to bring that up is because you are obviously committed to your series and your characters and you have fun writing them. And then there's this other piece of being an author, which is marketing your books, and it sounds like you do a lot toward that. You go to book signings. But I think that your blog and your website could be a real inspiration for authors who are going, I don't know what, what I'm writing my books, what more would I write? But to create a character of you as the author, the pirate author, and to have fun and invite your readers to have fun with you. It takes a long time to write a book. It takes way
Mhm.
longer to write it than it takes people to read it.
Right, right.
And so in between, to have this place where fans can come and they can have fun, they can see you do you know neat videos, they can read some of your stories. um, that that seems like such a great thing. How long have you been blogging? How long have you been running your author website?
Not that long. I'd probably say about maybe, oh gosh, I don't know, 2.5 years maybe.
There you go. Nice. But it just makes such a difference because then you can
Mhm.
become part of the world, become part of the author's world. Can I take you back a little bit to your publishing journey? There are a lot of authors who want to always hear the nitty gritty details. How did you land your publishing contract? So, is there a story there you're willing to share with us?
Sure, it's another funny story. I'm full of funny stories
You
here.
are. You should be a writer.
I know, but I went to this pirate festival.
Okay, and all your great stories start with going to a pirate festival.
Yes,
Note to self, go to more pirate festivals.
but and there was this lady there, and she was doing book signings. She also writes about pirates. And I stopped by her table, and I was looking at her books. I was like, "Oh, these sound very interesting," and I bought a couple of them. And she signed them to me, and we got to talking. And I told her, that I've got this book in the works. And she goes, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah." And so she goes, "Let me get you in touch with my publisher." And it just went from there. They loved it, and
Oh.
they took me right away.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's the power of approaching the right publisher.
Hmm.
And also, that's the power of networking with other authors. And I love two things about that. One, that you just said, hey, I'm writing this book, it's the kind of thing you would talk about. But that also, that this other author realizes that's not, you're not in competition with each other. there's
Right.
there's no limit to the number of great books we need.
Hmm.
And I think that's such an important message for authors to hear, that other authors are not your competition. They are your peers. They're people who can inspire you. They're people who can help connect you with the right folks. to move forward in your journey. How fantastic. So then you get to, I'm imagining a bunch of pirate authors all meeting up and drinking grog and
We have done that.
that's too
We
funny.
absolutely have done
So when you're not writing and you're not being a pirate, what else do you like to do, Jay? What are some of the things that inspire you or give you a break from writing?
I love to ride my horse.
Oh, so that's a happy ending to that story. Oh, what's your horse's name?
Morgana.
Morgana. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
If the little girl you could see your life now, do you think she would believe it?
No. No,
It's you-
I wouldn't believe it. No.
Oh, how lovely. Oh, that's such a delightful happy ending to your story. All right, I want to ask you for a practical tip for authors. And this might be something you would like if you could go back, if you had a magic spyglass that took you back in time and you could tell it to your younger author self, or just for other authors who maybe are starting out on their journey, what practical advice would you give about writing or any other part of the process?
I would probably have to say get help.
Ah.
Go to uh, websites and people like you in
The All Writers Welcome Facebook group.
yes, yes, focus groups and other authors, and do your homework and do some research. Don't make it such a hard job. Make it fun.
I love that.
Yes, you got to make it fun. Otherwise, it's just too much work, and you give up, and you just got to keep going. You just got to keep going.
Now, do you get support? Do you have a writing critique group that you're a part of, or you just have other writer friends and you all get together and support one another? What does support look like for you?
Right now, I just have my little circle of friends, my pirate friends, of course, and my sweetheart.
So they're your circle of mateys.
Yes, yes.
Oh, but you all share writing and.
Well, they're in my books, so that's where I get some of my characters. Some of my characters are real. Blackbeard's in them, and Ben Hornigold is Real Hands, and as well as some of my friends. They're also characters in some of the books. So I got a little bit of everything in there.
Oh, nice. But it makes a big difference to be around other people who think what we're doing is normal, because it can get a little bit weird and a little bit lonely to sit all day interacting with characters who are in our heads. Maybe they exist in real life, but in a different way, or they existed in history, but they're different in our stories.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you hang out with other people who do that or who support that, who think, yeah, that's perfectly normal to lock yourself in your room for several hours and just bang away at the keyboard.
Yeah.
More power to you.
Yeah.
It does. It makes a huge, huge difference. It sounds like you found some really special communities, both in writing and in pirating.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Who knew? I thought pirates were so cutthroat.
I know, but they're actually fun.
Okay, so now how about a fun question? That was a practical question. If you had something like a magic spyglass, and you could, instead of transporting you through time, it transported you through books. Is there a favorite adventure book that you had growing up, or one that you have now that you would love to go spend some time and live in?
Oh,
Or would
gosh.
it be one of your own?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. That's actually a hard question.
Oh, no.
I think, oh, I don't know. I love poetry, and I love children's poetry. And I
Oh.
love Shel Silverstein and Jack uh, Podolsky. I would love to go and meet them or be in one of their poems because they are just so good. I love them.
And so much unbridled imagination.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
To and I think that it's interesting. I don't know the second author you mentioned, but Shel Silverstein, reading him as a kid, I remember thinking, these poems are not all happy. Some of them are kind of dark. Some of them are kind of weird. And I think that made it okay to have thoughts or things in my imagination that were dark or were weird or maybe didn't make sense to other people. To see somebody who lets his lets his imagination carry him wherever it goes instead of
Mhm.
restraining it, I feel is really powerful.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
Like,
do you like do you like to add some darker elements to your writing, or are things more characters stay safe?
I try to keep things safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I put a little bit of me in there too.
Hmm.
I've got like my favorite drink is a soda called Fresca. It's also the name of a ship in my book. I love green eyes. The captain of the ship has green eyes.
Oh,
Um, let's see what else. My love for horses. I've integrated horses into the story somewhere, and some of my own recipes are actually in the book. I don't tell
oh,
you how to make them, but I tell you what they are, and they're really funny, so you'd never guess what they are. But I
oh
do have,
goodness.
yep,
You
I
know,
got some.
I can absolutely see you creating an activity for your readers that would be a scavenger hunt in your book. And
Yes.
it would be, here's the list of, can you find the name of a popular soft drink? Can you find the,
Yeah.
all these things? And then people could, write back to you and say, on page 54. They could
Yes. Yes.
put
That
it.
would be fun. That's a great idea.
I love it. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that would be so neat. And especially because you invite readers to communicate with you, and you're really making that connection with them, which is, of course, it makes reading so much more fun. That
Hmm.
feeling of knowing who's behind the
Yeah.
book. It's just delightful. Oh, well, so when it will be, do you have a release date for the next one yet, or it's still so much in process?
It's still in the works.
Okay, still in the works. All right.
Yeah.
So we'll wait on that one. Where can people get so give us the title of the first book and tell us where people can find it.
The first book is called Seraphina and the Pirate's Spyglass.
And where can we get it?
You
Where is
can
it
get it off
available?
my website at jhelm.com.
Okay.
And the second book is called Seraphina and the Pirate's Journey.
Ooh.
Yes,
Ooh.
and you can order them right off of my website.
Oh,
And if you
excellent.
put a memo in the box that you want it autographed, it will come to me and I will be more than happy to sign it for you.
Oh, I love it. Okay, that's how I'm getting mine then.
Yes.
That's such a great idea. And then, of course, once people, come to your website to order a book, then they see how much other fun stuff is going on there. Excellent. And then you're on Facebook and Twitter as well. So y'all can find Jaye on Twitter. She's at jhelm24, and on Facebook at jhelmauthor. And it must be fun to do your social media interactions as a pirate too.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yes, it is fun.
Oh, excellent. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today. I absolutely adored getting to see you and hear you speak. I've been enjoying reading your blog posts and just seeing all of the fun that you have with pirating. But it's been just a real treat
Oh,
to chat with you.
wonderful. It was my pleasure.
Thank you. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Okay.